folks. It is Tuesday night. It is around 9 o'clock, and you know where you are right here on the Who Are They Real Entertainment Network. And it is another fantastic edition of Real Sports with me, Colin, joined by the illustrious Suge Knight. Suge, welcome back. Round 2. You came back for another round. You seemed to like it the first time.
You call me illustrious. When you talk dirty to me like that, of course I'm going to come back.
Let's go.
What do you expect?
It's just the beginning. This is only episode 2. We have so much more to go. And we have so much to get to this week because it was WildCard weekend in the NFL. An absolute slugfest in some regards, in some matchups, and in others just absolute blowouts, completely boring, questioning whether or not teams needed to even be in the playoffs in some of these games. And a little bit later, we're going to run down a couple players who we think are probably most likely to get moved, maybe should get moved in the NBA because we are approaching that trade deadline. I'm going to throw a couple of names at Suge. He's going to think maybe they're going to stay, maybe they're going to go. Should I stay or should I go now? And we're going to figure out who can maybe pick up another weapon to make a championship run in the league. Buck, we promise this isn't going to hurt too bad. It's maybe as much as the Fauci ouchie, which was not bad. It was just like a little prick, just like look away, and it's like it never happened. Okay.
If he would have listened to me when I told him he picked wrong, he would have picked the Rams to win, but he didn't listen. So
this is true. This is true. I was completely wrong. I thought it was going to be a close game, and the Cardinals were going to pull it out. So let's go ahead, knock through the NFC matchups. We're going to start out with that Monday night matchup, the only Monday night matchup of the week. I thought that was a bit strange. I kind of liked the whole 3-3. It felt like it was going to be a full thing. And Monday night, we all just kind of had to wait for it. But it was the Rams versus the Cardinals. That game was 34. Yeah, I keep looking at this score, y'all, and I just don't believe it. 11 from the Rams offense. Just not the Rams offense that we have been seeing in the back half that had been supplied with that extra dose of James Conner confidence, and it just wasn't there, Suge. The Rams came in, and that defense was imposing, and they finally looked like the money they're paying them.
Yeah, for sure. And I said Stafford was going to throw 3 touchdowns. He threw 2 touchdowns, so I was off by 1. But yeah, the defense showed up, and you had OBJ throwing touchdowns or throwing passes in that game. So they pulled it all out against the Cardinals. Look, the Cardinals is a young team. Obviously, JJ Watt, he just tried to come back to play. Maybe coming back too early. Maybe he was just not ready. But their offense just didn't show up. They just didn't show up, and the Rams defense did. And when your offense doesn't show up against a good defense, you're going to have problems. And the Cardinals had problems. They ran into a defense that was ready. And look we always say it when playoff time comes around. Defense wins championships. And the Rams picked perfect time for their defense to start getting primed up for the playoffs. So we'll see what's going to happen in the next round. But obviously Cardinal fans are not happy. Buck damn near was going to break his damn phone tweeting yesterday because he couldn't believe what was going on. Because like you said, Colin, we thought this game was going to be close.
I predicted 35-32 Rams. You predicted 20 or 30-21. So even a single digit game, not 30.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Yeah, pretty close, but still
far
away.
ESPN thought it was going to be either. Yeah. ESPN thought this was going to be the one. Yeah,
so we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens now in the next round for the Rams. This is they've been to the Super Bowl in the last couple of years. Obviously different quarterback. I'm forgetting the coach's name. I want to say
Sean
McVay. Yeah, Sean McVay, young coach. And he looks good. And Stafford, 13 for 17, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. You protected him a little bit, because a lot of people were saying it's Matthew Stafford. He's gonna mess it up, and he did it. Yeah, and he did it. So you're kind of protecting him. The run offense 58 yards, nothing crazy. Cooper
No,
Kupp,
but
though,
there's a difference. There's a difference with this. I'm looking at the box score. Okay. 18 combined carries for the running backs for the Cardinals. 38 combined carries for the running backs of the Rams. That is a big difference. That is the difference in 11-minute differential in time of possession. And when you I'm with you on the Matt Stafford, but I don't know if he's not the reason they won the game, but for once he's not the reason the team lost the game, and that's all the Rams needed him to be. 13 for 17 for 202 with 2 touchdowns. 17 passes for Matt Stafford. This is the dude that threw for 5,000 yards, right? That's not the the usual Matt Stafford dose you're getting, but 0 interceptions and only 1 sack. The offensive line held up. He was able to do his job. The running backs were able to extend the game, and it really seemed like the Rams matured into a team that learned how to win football games and not just go for records and flashy plays. And I mean, the OBJ pass, obviously, for 40 yards is a flashy play. But I mean, you got to expect that. And it was still a bit, on the lower side. It
for sure.
More timid.
Yeah, for sure. And, Kyler Murray had a tough going. 19 for 34, only 137 yards, two interceptions, 2 sacks. I mean, that's tough. It was going to be his first playoff game, and he just, maybe a deer in the headlights. But Matthews, like you said, like I said, I think they protected Stafford. They didn't let him throw the ball a lot. They said let your running backs help you out. And when you throw the ball, make sure not to turn it over. And that's what he did. So at the end of the day, that's what you want from Matthew Stafford. That's how you're going to win games. Maybe late in the playoffs, you're gonna need him to throw. But for now, if it works,
Cam
and it's not
Akers
broken,
coming back, that's so big. That's such a confidence boost for them to be able to turn back and go, here you go. Here's a guy who wants to be here. Here's a guy who's fresh. Here's a guy who wants to contribute to this team. And that's a vibe they really hadn't had in the backfield because they've just been going through the same 2 dudes, but off and on so much that there was no trust, and Matt Stafford didn't have a guy. And to just lose Cam Akers like that right before the beginning of the season was just so tough. But for him to come back and battle back and to be a part of this playoff run is going to be exciting for the Rams. They traveled to the Bucks, and let's just go ahead and get over that game. That was just not really fun to watch. The Bucks and the Eagles, 31-15. Bucks won. And in a day when the Bucks won the next day, Buck lost. And it was just really Eagles, just a team that didn't need to be in the playoffs. Just kind of like, at least in that matchup, that's one of those Titanic differentials between a 2 and a 6. That's just
well, I won't say they didn't belong in the playoffs because
they didn't belong in the playoffs, but that matchup.
The matchup was just bad, and we'll talk
loss like that because it's such a titanical difference in their obviously that team won freaking Super Bowl last year, so
I mean, we'll talk about another game where it looked the same kind of thing, but the Eagles, the Bucks are primed to be back in the Super Bowl. I think they're, and Tom Brady, goddamn it, how old is he? And he hasn't looked like he lost a step. Dude,
are we going to see this man have to go? This is the final hump. This is the one thing. Obviously, he's Hall of Fame, right? Obviously, he's the greatest quarterback of the last 30 years, unquestioned, right? And then you can have an argument with some other folks after that. If the man goes up to Lambeau in the tundra of what the world has been throwing at the United States over the last 2 weeks has been super cold. Down here in South Carolina, it's 30 some odd degrees right now. We're not used to this. If Tom Brady, after retiring to Florida, has to move up to the tundra and go win a playoff game and an NFC championship game, I mean, that is a massive, unquestionable stamp on the legacy of
and he beats
never had to do before.
And he beats Aaron Rodgers to get there.
And his toe.
I mean, look at, I hate to say it, but you have to crown him the GOAT if he does that.
That's it.
If he's able to get to the Super Bowl, and win it, good God.
Oh wait, did he do that last year?
Did he go to? No, they were the number 1 seed. I don't think they had to
Who's
go
the
to
number 1 seed? They
Yeah,
were definitely the number 1 seed, weren't they?
let me see.
Dang, fuck. I appreciate it. Like, call me on my bullshit. Like, but I just love the ride. Like, then he's our. Oh, okay.
Oh no, they did go to Tampa. I mean, sorry, they did. No, that was 2020. Yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah, fuck. Thank you.
Yeah, never mind. I forgot about that. Yeah, they went. Wow. So he went on the road.
What was the weather like? Do we have a weather report? Because I think if it's colder, it's cooler.
Well, that's crazy though. I didn't even think about that.
And I just like Washington Aaron Rodgers more than I did last year, Aaron Rodgers. So I want him to do it more.
Well, Washington, he went to Washington, so that's okay. Even okay.
Who then was the quarterback? Simeon?
I think so. He went to New Orleans.
Okay. Drew Brees' final ride. He beats Drew Brees, right?
And then he went to Green Bay.
If we take the football team out of there, it's one of the greatest playoff runs of all time besides Joe.
And then he beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He beat Patrick Mahomes. So he beat 3 of the best quarterbacks right now.
29 degrees, relative humidity, 75%, wind 10 miles per hour.
Well, never mind.
Weatherman Buck.
Yeah.
I want a tundra. Like, I want it the snow. I want it like the tuck rule. I want the tuck rule snow. Like, I want it powder. And I want to see Tom Brady have to slug it out. I think that'd be great. That's just, I don't know what else in the NFC I want to see. I mean, the Rams would be cool, but like,
I like to see the 49ers. My best friend was a 49er when he passed away. So to see the 49ers go. And right now I was streaming earlier in Twitch, and somebody was in there talking, and they were like, San Francisco still doesn't want Jimmy Garoppolo. So can you imagine if he got him to the Super Bowl and won it? Do they still keep him, or do they get rid of him?
That'd be something else.
That would be crazy. So
my stepdad is a gigantic 49ers fan, and he's the one 49ers fan that has zero opinion on the quarterback situation and just wants to win. He loves it. He honestly does not care who the quarterback is, and he thinks Jimmy's fine and rolls with it. And I'm rooting for him in that sense. But when they're the last team you played in the Super Bowl, you kind of have a hard time rooting for that team. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I understand. But that's going to be very interesting because the game. Do we have
Bucks Rams 3:00?
Yeah, Bucks Rams
on Sunday.
Packers 49ers is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yep.
Bengals Titans.
So let's talk about the Bengals game real quick.
Okay, let's talk about Bengals Raiders. But do we
know Raiders game? The Henry coming back? Controversy with the inadvertent whistles, supposedly, and them still awarding the touchdown to the Bengals that put the Bengals up 20-6. Bit of an interesting little debacle there for Raiders fans that kind of made it more difficult at the end. And the Raiders still, to me, I mean, they had moments where Josh Jacobs seemed like he was a reliable guy, but I still just didn't see a team that I thought needed to be in the conference semifinals. The division, the divisional round.
I mean, it's kind of weird with the Raiders because, we're talking about their offense, we're talking about their defense. They look pretty good, and then the Bengals just kind of just, did what they wanted against them. Burrow 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running game wasn't really there for Cincinnati. So Vegas did a good job there, but they could not stop Jamar Chase.
Yeah, why was that your idea? Why I don't know why that, like, you can stack the box or you can add another DB and kind of stop the pass. It just didn't seem like, I feel like the pass is definitely more lethal than the run for Cincy. It just seemed like a very interesting play call. I did appreciate the Raiders coach at the end of the game going on social media. He was writing personalized thank you letters to every player of the Raiders team. I thought that was a good touch.
That's nice. That's nice of him.
That was nice. I don't know, that other than the controversial call, this game really wasn't, too happy for the city of Cincinnati, first playoff win in 30 years.
First playoff win in 30 years. And
you want to hear something crazy, Shug? No person until Saturday had ever sent a text message about a Cincinnati playoff win.
I saw that.
Text message was invented after the last time the Cincinnati Bengals won a playoff game.
Yeah. And, this is good for them. Now they're going into a tough matchup against the Titans. And what I was going with was, do we know if Henry's back?
We've had Mike Vrabel quotes today of basically like, it's Tuesday, ferme la bouche. Like, shush.
Yeah, we'll see.
And I'll see
you because that's going to change a lot. Yeah, that's going to change a lot, that game. If Derrick Henry's available, what he could bring to the table, or if Mike Tannehill has to Ryan Tannehill. Why did I say Mike Tannehill? Ryan Tannehill has to win this game but it's crazy because he has Brown,
AJ Brown and
and Julio, and it's like he has the talent. The defense is pretty good. So he has the pieces. Derrick Henry just puts him over the top. So it's going to be very interesting.
Team quite literally almost unguardable. Like what do
when you have a Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and Brown, as your offensive weapons.
Over.
So we're gonna see what happens with this game. And it's hard to pick because if Derrick Henry is available, you obviously go with the Titans, but how healthy is he? How productive he's going to be? So it's gonna be a very interesting game.
Okay,
I think this is gonna be the game where nobody really cares. I think it's gonna be one of those games nobody's gonna really care about this game.
Yeah, and it's gonna end up being awesome. It's gonna end up being great. It's gonna be the one that everyone's like, So let's blow through. Unfortunately, let's go through the Bills and Pats. That was just a mismatch. I don't know. That was just a Bills beatdown.
That was the Bills of 20 years of frustration with Bill Belichick and saying, all right, well, we're just going to take it out on you. Like Josh Allen just decided
It's like when Peter Parker finally got to beat the shit out of Flash Thompson and Sam Raimi Spider-Man. He's like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I don't care if I get kicked out of school. I'm gonna beat you up, and it's gonna be great. And they enjoyed it. You could really tell. That was really fun. That was great.
That was personal.
Yeah.
Where's that meme at with Jordan? I took it personally. That was what the Bills. Yeah, 100%. The Bills took it personally.
100%.
It was crazy to watch, and you didn't expect that. I think we both picked you picked the Packers or Patriots.
I did pick the Pats. Yeah, I picked the Pats.
I did not expect it to be that score, to be honest with you. Not at all. I thought they were going to I thought it was gonna be a very close game. I thought Bill Belichick was gonna have that team ready, and they just didn't have it.
Did not. So. Mac Jones is a Southern boy playing in the cold. I don't think he was quite ready for that. And neither were the running backs, who were one of them is definitely an Alabama boy. I don't know where Ramondre Stevenson went to college, but I don't think it was in the North.
Was he used to that?
Those guys were like, "What is this? Like, this is really cold." And even on NFL Countdown, they were saying how Josh Allen was not going to be wearing sleeves, and then he came out wearing sleeves. I was like, "Yeah, bullshit! You were going to go out there not sleeved, like whatever, dude."
The arms are gonna. Remember what was that movie where they freeze and then it breaks off? Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, with Wesley Snipes.
100%.
Like. He's gonna get hit one time, his arms are just gonna freaking fall off and break. But yeah.
Okay, Shug. Time to 42-21. You got 21 points up. Chiefs take the Steelers down. You walked into a hotbed of Patrick Mahomes time. And what can you do when Pat goes 30 for 39? What are you gonna do?
Oh, what you could do is in that first quarter, you were stopping them. You score. That's what you do. Steelers had the ball 7 times in that first quarter, and did not score at all.
And Najee Harris only ran the ball 12 times.
It was ridiculous to watch. You're stopping Patrick Mahomes. Like, look what he did. It was even what? I think at the end of the first, it was
0-0. And then at the end of the second, it was 21-7.
Yeah, but it was like the last 5 minutes of that second quarter. You had your defense was playing great. You got a defensive turnover, which we talked about. That's how the Steelers were going to win this game, and they were able to get it. And then it just fell apart. First off, kudos to Patrick Mahomes, because once he figured out what the Steelers were doing, he started running at TJ Watt. Everything started going at Watt, and Watt just couldn't do it by himself. Then they just made our corners just look ridiculous.
They were running 3 wide receiver sets with Byron Pringle making like, well, yeah, like obviously that guy's going to be open if you're covering the other 3 phenomenal athletes on the field. Like, there's just nothing you can do with some of those.
There was a point, it was 3rd and 20, and they're out of field goal range. And then Mahomes just throws a touchdown to freaking Travis Kelce. Not a first down, and then they get the touchdown. A touchdown.
That's Patrick Mahomes, though, right? I mean, that
is Patrick Mahomes, and you forced him to turn over the ball twice. You got a fumble from KC, and he threw an interception, and you couldn't score. And I kept saying, I was doing a live watch along on Twitch, and my Buck was there, and I said, we cannot hold this team forever. Eventually, they're going to start scoring. And had Pittsburgh been able to put up 2 scores, maybe 2 scores in a field goal, maybe a score and 2 field goals, it's a different story. It's a little closer.
It's a different world. I mean,
they didn't get anything. They didn't get any production. And then all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes just starts going off. And when you're 3rd and 20 and can't make a stop, hold them to a field goal.
Possession was dead even, by the way. 30 minutes of pop.
Well, like Buck said, we had 4 first quarter drives. How do you not score? Score on 2 of those.
Score a field goal.
Score a field goal. Score a touchdown and a field goal. Score 2 touchdowns. Things will look a little easier.
Anything's better than that. Anything's better than a goose egg.
Yeah. Now, I will comment on that play where the lineman just threw TJ Watt. Was that legal? Was that legal? Because I've never seen a receiver just grab a corner, throw him, and catch a touchdown. So I want to know, is that legal? Please tell me.
If it's within 5 yards.
So within 5 yards, a receiver can just grab a corner and just chuck him? Come on.
You want tighter rules, or do you want more fun?
No.
I don't know.
Right? Well, I said we would never get that call anyway in Kansas City. They didn't run all over us. I mean, they had 100 yards combined, but Patrick Mahomes had 30 of those.
One of them was a 23-yard rush. So,
so they didn't run all over us. Deontay Johnson, Jesus Christ, did he just forget how to catch the ball? Like, good, and that was the one thing.
Well, he caught half of his targets, right? Yeah,
He was targeted 10 times. Yeah, he caught 5. That's what hurt us the most. Was we're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, and Deontay at least dropped 3 or 4 passes where if he catches it, we convert a 3rd down, which extends the drive. So that's what hurt us. And then Patrick Mahomes just being Patrick Mahomes. Like, what can you do when the guy's just chucking and throwing balls everywhere like it's the thing to do?
Oh, and Travis Kelce threw for a touchdown.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce threw. I mean, good God, they just decided to spit in our face. I think the Steelers have a lot of things they need to take care of. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger is gone, supposedly. So do you draft a quarterback? Do you try to get Aaron Rodgers? Russell Wilson seems like the most obvious because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay. Wilson, though, looks like, hey, that would be a fit, especially with Tomlin. I think 100% you need to go get a new offensive coordinator. The receivers displayed their displeasure with him, the play calling. You have, if Juju leaves, you still have Deontay Johnson. I think Washington's a free agent. Chase Claypool, Ray McLeod made himself well known, and you still have the tight end and Najee Harris. You have an offense. You build through the draft to get the line better, or you bring in a free agent to make that line better. You build through you build through the draft. You draft some corners. You get a new offensive coordinator. Your defense is good right now. It could be better, obviously, because Patrick Mahomes made our corners look like clowns, and that's what you have to do if you want to compete in the AFC North. Granted, people will say, we weren't supposed to be there. Look what we did. We did it with the bad O-line, young receivers, rookie quarterback, rookie running back, rookie tight end, and a 39-year-old quarterback that moves at 0.2 speed. So you have the ability to win football games. So you got to just change some things up. I think Tomlin's a great coach. He's never been under 500. This is going to be where he proves he's a great coach, because he no longer has a Hall of Fame quarterback, whether you consider him a Hall of Fame or not. And he's going to deal with a lot of young guys. He's going to have the defensive player of the year. He's going to have a young running back that ran the ball really well. You're going to have a young tight end, young receiver core. This is their time to prove what kind of coach you are, because this is where you're going to make your money. If he's able to get this team without a Big Ben into the playoffs next year and a deep run, he's as good as advertised as a coach. I truly believe that. So sucks that we lost, but Kansas City was a better team. I picked them to win. I believe I said 41-17 or something like that. I don't remember the score. 27. Something like that. It was pretty close.
31-17. I said 34-24. Not bad.
So we were both wrong.
And we were both wrong. But both right at the same time. On to the last game. 49ers toppled the Cowboys 23-17 in what was undoubtedly the most dramatic game of the weekend, ending with one of the wildest little things I've ever seen, where I have a hot take, and I don't think it's a hot take, but Dak Prescott should have handed the ball off to the ref, but instead handed it off to his center. And the ref was a slowpoke and was a slow guy and wasn't as fast as the professional athletes on the field, and didn't have time to get back to the center to touch the ball so the play could start. So it was just a kerfuffle all around, and that's the risk you take with running a play where if you don't get out of bounds, you have to get down and
spike the ball.
And spike the ball. And
the ref has to set it. So
the ref has to do it.
At the end of the day, I'm not gonna put too much on Dak Prescott. I know what he was trying to do.
Did a great game. I thought Dak did great. I thought he was putting the ball in the right places. Cooper was great. Cedric Wilson was great. Schultz showed up. The running game just was not there. Zeke, 12 for 31. Not there. Pollard, 4 for 14. Not there. Hey, Kellen Moore, surprising. Did you just lose your shot at a head coaching position? I think so, bro. That was not a good look for Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Lamb did not show up. He had a couple. No, Lamb had the play right at the end. He caught the last ball. Didn't he? Didn't Lamb catch the last catch right there before it didn't happen? So he almost showed up. He tried.
Well, I mean, I think you got to give it up to the 49ers offense and their defense especially really holding that run game. I mean, Bosa got hurt early in the third, I believe.
Yep.
Second, third. And that defense was able to still, if anything, keep them from running the ball.
Yep.
Zeke never got off. You have to take one or the other. Zeke gets off, Dak gets off, or whatever.
But Emmanuel Mosley had a baller of a day. Emmanuel Mosley had 10 solo tackles on the day for the Niners defense. I mean, that is stout.
Yeah. And this goes with the same thing that we said about Stafford. Jimmy Garoppolo, they kind of kept him safe. 16 for 25, 172 yards, had that one pick, but no sacks. So he gave up one. But Mitchell, 96 yards. Deebo Samuels, 72 yards. That's
38 in the air. So
that's 100. That's 160 yards running the ball. That's going to get it done most of the days when you have that kind of running. And then Dallas only has 77 yards.
And Dallas has 2 fumbles, one from Dak, and that was recovered, and one from Cedric Wilson. So I mean, it's just a rough day for the Cowboys offense that if they're not clicking, the defense does not seem to have it. And it was just a weird, unfortunate.
Well, that's why it was weird because I went back and watched what we were talking about, and you were saying, well, that defense, even if the offense doesn't show up, the defense shows up. 49ers offense really just did what they wanted. Granted, Garoppolo didn't get them through the air, but when Mitchell has
the Cowboys showed up thinking that they were going to let them, like, that the running was going to thrash them like that. I don't think they saw Elijah Mitchell getting 27 carries.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that kudos to 49ers. Kudos to the coach. I mean, he showed up and kept that game simple for Jimmy. Kept that game simple for Jimmy, and as long as he didn't make major mistakes, they were able to pull it out. Now everyone's going to point to the last 5 seconds, 6 seconds, whatever. But there was a tweet I saw. I think it was from Tony Dungy. He's talked about the penalties Dallas had.
Man knows how to tweet.
Yeah, he does. Talked about a lot of things that Dallas did, and he says you can't complain about the last couple minutes when you literally had, were shooting yourself in the foot with penalties, giving up running yards, all these things. You're not going to win football games like that. So, granted, a lot of fans especially Cowboy fans, are upset about the last couple minutes with the ref and everything like that, but you could have showed up earlier in the game and maybe you wouldn't have had this situation. Granted, there were some great Dallas memes that came out from this loss. Oh, it was hilarious. Sorry to crap on the Dallas fans, but it was pretty funny. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, And Dallas is 1-0. And I think there was a graphic where they set all these records with their offense just not to show up in the playoffs. Got to show up.
Zeke, offense in the league.
Zeke, you're doing this. You're doing this all the time. Homie, you got to show up. You got to show up. 31 yards is not showing up.
I just thought it was great that I did watch the Nickelodeon broadcast some. Young Dylan is a star. That's all I'll say. And his interview with Deebo Samuel was just super heartwarming. That kid is like a ball of energy. And I need the Young Dylan and Aiden Diggs hour on Nickelodeon. I feel like that those two hosting a sports show, just golden, just absolutely fantastic, folks. That is going to wrap up the wild card game discussion as we move on to our divisional picks for the divisional round. First game Saturday, 4:30 in Nashville. Bengals at Titans. Suge, what you got?
Well, I said if Derrick Henry plays, it's going to change some things. I don't know if he's going to play, how he's going to perform.
Give us full reins on Twitter to adjust our picks if Derrick Henry does play. I am making my pick as if he is not playing.
Well, I'm making my pick even if he plays or not plays.
Okay.
I think the Bengals are going to win their second playoff game of the year. I think they're going to beat Tennessee. I think Joe Burrow is a star. He's going to be something to deal with in the AFC North and in the AFC. So I got the Bengals winning 27-17.
All right. I agree. I, too, am taking the Bengals 31-23. A little bit more offense. Okay. Game number 2, Saturday. Team we just talked about, the 49ers traveling up to Green Bay, up to Lambeau Field.
Yep.
Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers going up against Matt LaFleur and the Packers. I am going with the Packers 42-17. No, I'm adjusting that. 29-16.
Okay. Well, depending on what's going on with Bosa, is going to be interesting because they're going to need him to beat Aaron Rodgers. But the one thing that travels to the tundra is a running game. And I think Debo and I think Mitchell, they discovered something in Mitchell. And I think 49ers are going to be able to run the ball, time of possession. I'm going with the upset. 21-17.
Okay.
49ers.
I like it. I like it. I dig it. I dig it. That brings us to Sunday at 3 o'clock. No 1 o'clock game. So brunch is free, ladies. Brunch is free on Sundays. Rams versus Bucks down in Tampa Bay. Game of the week? Question mark. Firepower out the wazoo on one side and depleted but powerful on the other. Shug. This is a 3-point spread in the favor of the Bucks.
This is gonna be tough.
This is tough. This is a rough pick.
This is tough because it's the opposite of the game we just talked about, where you're going into the tundra, cold.
Bro, like it was the difference on Sunday night or Sunday countdown when I was watching whoever was warming up for the Bucks and they were in like shorts and I had to, like ask Google like, what's the temperature in Tampa Bay right now? Like, just had to know. It was like, oh, it's going to be a high of 68. And I was like, oh, fuck off. And you're like watching the Bills guys in like 0-degree temperatures. Like,
And LA Rams are a West Coast team. So we're going East Coast, but it's not cold. So
and it's a 3 o'clock game. So there's no 12 o'clock game. So it's not like they're playing a 9 o'clock game. So at least they can still have some sort of body adjustment where it's not so bad. And it's not really even a time difference.
Yeah. So does Stafford come out and outplay Tom Brady? Did he keep it safe? I don't think you can. I don't think you can sit back and let Stafford only throw 17 passes. I think you're going to have to throw a lot. I think OBJ is going to have to show up. Cooper Kupp is going to have to show up. I think Aaron Donald's going to have to show up.
Talk about that. Cooper Kupp had 3 catches, like no yards. There were some prop bets on Sleeper, an app that was like, we'll give you $25 if Cooper Kupp gets over 100 yards. If you put Cooper Kupp in any same game parlay, we'll give you $25. My guy had like 30. Like there was like none. Like it was his worst performance of the entire season. And he has to have a rebound game in him. And what a place to do it. To go up against Mike Evans, a guy who a few years ago was heralded as possibly the next best receiver in the league in terms of total talent and what he brings to the field. And Cooper Kupp is just shattering expectations in terms of what somebody can do with his stature and his size and can just be so as versatile as he is, being such a switchblade out there and crushing it. Do the Bucks have a defensive answer for Cooper Kupp? I think that has to be in that. Is it Devin White? Is that the linebacker? And Levante David? They're both the linebackers for the Bucks. I think like they have to step up. This is going to be on Cooper Kupp from making the jump from like next level from a 5-yard gain to making it a 13-yard gain. The linebackers have to be the difference makers. You have to get them to third down, and you have to force the depleted running back core of the Bucks to be the difference maker in the game. I think that's the X factor in this game is can the Buccaneers running game finally come through with all the injuries that they've had? Is Le'Veon Bell going to have a touchdown in this game? That would just be insane to me that like we're like in the divisional round and Brady throws.
I think this is gonna be a shootout, though. I think Stanford's gonna show up. It's gonna be a shootout, but I think Tampa Bay just Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. So I think the score is gonna be 37-28.
37-28 Bucks. Colin is also taking the Bucks, and it's going to be 32-28. I think the Rams are going to get the same amount of points, but I think the Bucks will get a little bit less. Okay, 3 out of 4. One more. Bills at Chiefs are the semi-nightcap at 6:30 on Sunday. Kansas City getting 2 points at home. Doug, this is a tough game.
It is.
Arguably the two most talented quarterbacks in the AFC and the two most the fastest receivers we have in terms of breaking that fourth wall of taking the top off of the defense in terms of Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. This is a shootout. Dawson Knox took a level up this weekend. He leveled up. In Pokemon, the guy evolved into a new Dawson Knox. It was a confidence level. When you ball out in the playoffs, it's different. We saw it with Dennis. I saw a really weird parallel, and see if you agree with me. With Dennis Pitta in the 2012 Ravens playoff run, where that guy went from some dude that would, get you 3-4 catches a game, be good in the blocking, to a guy that's making third down catches, getting you 2 touchdowns in that game for them last weekend, and just a confidence boost for Josh Allen to feel like he has another safety net that's not named Stephon Diggs. And he can just be like, yo, I need 5 yards. And you're telling me I don't have to play in Buffalo? Like, I think like Josh Allen will trade playing in Kansas City for the Tundra. Like, I think he's got a better chance and feels more confident in himself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think yes, it's a Kansas City home game, but I think Josh Allen's gonna be fine playing there. I do think though, this is an important game for Josh Allen. This is an important game for him. This is to prove he's up there with the elites. It's to prove he's up there with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and I think Buffalo can get it done, but not today. I think Kansas City's going to win a close game, possibly by a field goal or a touchdown. I think if Kansas City does what they did against Pittsburgh and don't start off hot and Buffalo gets the ball, they're going to be able to score. And so for me, I think the score is going to be 31-27 Kansas City.
I'm taking the Bills 44-41. Let's jump through some fucking tables.
Wow, Bills Mafia.
Bills Bengals in the AFC Championship game, and I want to see Joe Burrow go up there and have to battle it out in the tundra. I don't think Joe Burrow's ready for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if that's what I want to see. I don't know if that's like the AFC Championship game I want. But Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow, that sounds like something fun. I feel like that is a more interesting matchup. Not necessarily what I'm rooting for. What I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be fun. 44-41. Would you like to watch that game, Shug?
That game? Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's what I'm saying. All right. I'm sitting here rooting for games that I want to see. They're going to be fun games. Out 31-27. That's a banger. That sounds like something that comes down to a touchdown right at the end of the game, and it's 27-24 Bills. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball, comes on through. Travis Kelce, boom. And then who is it? Mecole Hardman for the touchdown to seal the game. That's your game. I like your game. There you go. Your game sounds fun. Okay, folks, we got our predictions for the NFL. We're going to take a little trip over to the NBA. We're going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes over here, and we're going to get out of your hair. Okay, it's trade season. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. JJ Redick's flip-flopping on whether or not he thinks the Lakers are a bad team on first take. Lots of stuff going on in the NBA world. But one thing that is persistent is the curious case of Benjamin Simmons. And it currently persists to this very day. And it has gone on for far too long. Shug, 1, do you care? And 2, will he be traded, or do you think he'll sit out the season?
Who's going to take him? I've heard the Lakers. I've heard the Lakers where you send Westbrook to Philly and you get Ben Simmons, but you're just trading one problem for another. You need a shooter. You need some kind of shooter, or you need someone that can facilitate with LeBron. not someone who's going to jack up shots, not someone who's going to want to demand the ball. The problem with the Lakers is AD. AD's always hurt, so you can't. And I keep saying, if you have them at full strength, I believe they can pretty much beat anybody. But because AD can't ever stay healthy, it's hard, and the game adjusts and changes. That being said, I don't think Ben Simmons is going to. Ben Simmons is going to go anywhere. I think he's just going to sit out the season. I do think, though, Buddy Hield is going to end up with the Lakers, and Westbrook's going to be traded to Sacramento.
So you think my Ben Simmons pick is that he actually goes to the Kings in return for Halliburton, Hield, and Bagley.
Okay.
I like a big trade like that. Because I heard today that the Sixers laughed at the Pistons offer of like Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, Langston Galloway, and a first-round pick, and they laughed at it. And I was like, whoa. I don't know if I'd laugh at that. But
yeah.
That's still like a really, really, really good package for a guy that's not even on your fucking basketball team. Like, that's one thing where I'm like,
I think they're just trying to overplay their hand and be like, hey, this guy's an all-star, so you're going to have to give us some good talent. I think the Lakers are being smart. I don't think you need Ben Simmons. But as much as it was nice to see Westbrook just dunk on Colbert, whatever his name is, yesterday, he absolutely demolished Colbert. Yeah, Rudy Colbert. He demolished him yesterday. I just think the problem with Westbrook is he just doesn't fit with LeBron, and obviously the Lakers are not trading LeBron, So I think you call up Sacramento and say, hey, we'll give you Westbrook. That's going to be an exciting player for the Kings. Give us Buddy. Buddy can facilitate. Buddy can handle the ball, Or you go and look for shooters, which has always been a detriment for the Lakers. Is
Buddy,
shooters.
I think, and here's a sneakier pick and somebody who's a bit more, I think Buddy's a bit more like one-dimensional. And he's come along a bit more over the last few years, and he's become stronger in his shooting, which is crazy to think. I think Karis LeVert is a better pickup for the Lakers. I think he provides more depth, a bit more transition between the 2 and the 3. I think he can provide a bit more defense at the perimeter. I think Buddy is a liability on the defensive end. I don't know if Buddy is actually able to play the last 3 minutes of a playoff game. I don't know if Buddy Hield is built for that, but I think Karis LeVert is. And I think he's just a sicko on defense. And his offense backs it up in transition. And he goes in. I mean, I hate to just use the term like he's a go-getter, but dude's a go-getter. And another guy on his team, Sabonis. I'm like having like nightmares that I'm Bob Myers for the Warriors, and I'm sitting at the table trying to like figure out what the Warriors have to give up for Sabonis. Because that's it. Sabonis is it. If the Warriors got Sabonis, it's over. That guy stretch a true stretch 4. A true stretch 4. That's something Warriors like never had.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think the Lakers obviously didn't have LeBron, or do you think Carmelo would still be on this team?
Wait. If they didn't have LeBron?
Meaning, because he's his friend.
Oh,
because
no. But he would have been cut. No, you would not.
Yeah, and they would be able to pick up somebody better or more fitting for the Lakers. Because you have right now, you have like a Trevor Ariza who's kind of taking up a spot. He's not the Trevor Ariza of old. You have Carmelo Anthony taking up a spot. They traded Rondo, right? I haven't been keeping up with the trades, but they traded Rondo's no longer on the Lakers, right?
Rondo's no longer on the Lakers. He's on the Cavs.
Yeah. So,
all right, dudes I'd rather have on my team than Carmelo Anthony. Al Farouk Aminu, it's arguable. Justin Anderson, also arguable. Any of the Antetokounmpos, they're both available. Alex and Costas, both available. Dwayne Bacon, these aren't great names. Jordan Bell. All right, we're really getting into the slums down here. This is not great. Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook's available. Lakers love Quinn Cook. I love Quinn Cook. I can be a champion Quinn Cook to you. DeMarcus Cousins, free agent.
Really? He's on the Bucks?
I think they cut him, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But damn, how the mighty have fallen.
Shooting. Go get Sam Decker. You could pay him a $5 bill and go get 9 points a game. Deli's available. The Deli could be open in LA. Who knows? At the Crip Center. Who knows what's going on? Wait, what's the tweet?
What's the tweet? Buck?
Oh, Buck with
did he tweet? Did he tweet at Buck and tell him to shut up?
No, I hope he said send me to LA. That'd be kind of wild.
That's funny.
Man, this is crazy. I'm just like looking through all these names, like people.
I'm just saying the reason I bring that up, I just feel like Carmelo's taking up a spot.
100%
that can help the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tyler Johnson's a free agent right now. I mean, there's just guys like Sean McDermott, not Doug McDermott. Never mind. Patrick McCaw. I love McCaw. Great for the Warriors. Great 6'7" shooting guard. There's one thing about McCaw nobody ever said how tall he was. Booker went off for 46 points and tweeted, "Y'all aren't so loud," referring, I believe, to Golden State Warriors. Okay. But he deleted it because he realized it was probably stupid. I don't know. Like, did he not? Yeah, I don't think he played the Warriors last night. So,
what does it matter?
A bit of a slump, but they're in like an admitted slump trying to figure out Klay Thompson, and then we're like 2 weeks away from bringing in Wiseman. So I love the cushion that the Warriors have given themselves. Well, let's cover the last two names on this list that I put together for us. One be Marvin Bagley from the Kings. Does Marvin Bagley have a comeback story in this league, and why is it with the Miami Heat?
I think you already made up your mind. I think he goes to Miami.
It just smells really good. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. Go ahead. I got a sandwich.
There you go. That's always good.
Yeah. But I think Bagley would just be perfect on the Heat. I think he would line up perfectly. You could trade. Not Hero, but the other white boy, Duncan Robinson. I think if the Kings gave up more and Duncan Robinson was all they were getting back, and maybe like a second, they just got to get away from Marvin Bagley. You got to get that guy out of Sacramento. He's not a guy that needs to be playing in Sacramento at the Spooky Kings Center. It just doesn't work. The guy that went to Duke, you know? I think you should move on. Give him another shot. And here's who I think will be the name that the Lakers should and won't pick up. Jeremy Grant.
Okay.
I think Jeremy Grant is a fantastic 3-4 kind of switch.
But I don't think they need a 3-4. I think they need a 1 or a 2. 1 or a 2. I think
you let LeBron be the one.
Yeah, but you still need I think you still need a 1, even though he has the ball. It's weird to say. So I think more you need a 2.
Right.
That's not going to demand the ball.
So you want more of a Karis LeVert or Buddy Hield.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you could slide one of the young guys in at the 1, but he's just not the point guard. LeBron is. And then you know when AD comes back, you're going to need this 2 to be able to hit outside shots or be able to drive the ball when he gets the ball. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, trade deadline February 10th, so we have plenty of time for trades. So that leaves us plenty more episodes to speculate and break down. But that will do it, folks, for this edition of Real Sports. We have given you our NFL predictions. We have given you our NBA thoughts. Next week, we will be back to cover NFL divisional rounds and give our predictions for the conference championships. Suge, we're 2 weeks away from the conference championship. No. Getting crazy. Slowly approaching March Madness. Football's phasing out.
Football's phasing out. Basketball season. And then we get into the spring training. We didn't really get to talk about that, but talks of baseball is kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that.
Anyone takes Freddie Freeman from me, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the team. The team that takes Freddie Freeman from me will be public enemy number 1 on this show for the rest of its life, as long as it lives. Unless Freddie stays, in which case I'll be the happiest little boy in the entire world. But that will do it, folks. Suge, It is always a pleasure. This is now one of my most look forward to things of the week. Talking sports with you is a true pleasure, sir. Where can the fine folks of the internet find you when you're not here with me?
Of course, you can find me at SugeKnight323 on Twitter and TikTok. Find me at SugeKnight1323 on Twitch. I'll be streaming a little bit more. And then obviously Mondays, you'll be seeing me back on Spin for Real. We will have an episode this Monday, so be there. We're going to be talking Schmodown again. Get ready to be back in the season. It's going to be awesome hanging out with Chris and Matt and Allison. Get back in the full swing of things. And then, of course, find me here Tuesdays with Colin talking sports. Something I love to do. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody that stopped by. Thank you, Buck, for stopping by, and everybody else that was in the chat. Appreciate all of you.
Boom, folks. You can find me at _C_Morris on all the social media platforms, every single one of them. Matt, Toby, and myself just dropped a How I Met Your Father first 2 episodes review. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We are all How I Met Your Mother fanatics, and this satisfied our itch more than we all expected. You can find me tomorrow on this channel as we get into a little show called The Book of Boba Fett episode 4. Unbelievable stuff there, and tons of other stuff coming up on the channel as well. A Scream review coming up for all of you horror folks. I stay as far away from scary stuff as possible, but y'all check that stuff out, and you better be back right here with us next week as we break down the divisional and look forward to the conference championship weekend, folks. This has been another edition of Real Sports. Stay classy, internet. Me and Suge, we'll be back.